Well, there is short-term discomfort involved, of course, in something like this. But compared with the long-term discomfort involved in actually having to live with the long-term effects of global warming and the decisions that these turkeys on the hill make, this is small discomfort.
So, one of the Extinction Rebellion demands is a citizens' assembly, and a citizens' assembly would call for proper policy regardless of which party was in government. Do you see a citizens' assembly as something that this country would accept?
The thing with Canberra in particular is that it's infested with lobbyists. It's infested with the Minerals Council of Australia. It's infested with APIA, which is the main lobbying group for the gas industry. Now, unless we are able to break that nexus between politics and lobbying, we're really not going to be able to force a climate emergency and climate emergency budgets. And the Citizens' Assembly approach is a way to do that. But nevertheless, in order to get that happening, we've got to muster massive social force to shove politicians into a position where they realise they have to accept that.
Which is why these actions are so important.
I believe so.
So today the police have made a decision not to arrest anyone. At this point they haven't removed any of the vehicles or removed any of the people that are sitting on the road like you are. Is this a deliberate decision to minimise the publicity that you'll receive?
I don't know whether it's necessarily about minimising publicity. It would certainly be about minimising trouble for the police. And I mean, I can't say what happens at the upper echelons of political and police decision making. But we also know historically that there is a process in this, that at this stage the police will be instructed to play it fairly softly. Once we start to make a bigger mark, then the police will be instructed to use violence. Some police will do that happily, others will do it reluctantly, but nevertheless, that is the dynamic that happens. And that is, paradoxically, a sign of our success. That's a sign for us to go harder.
So, at the moment, we're going to need some big actions to get the attention. So, escalating from where we are now, I suppose we will be seeing probably more police violence in response to that.
Provided we are able to put together the level of success necessary to pull thousands of people together, not just for a pleasant rally on a Sunday afternoon where they go there for a couple of hours, then go home and don't think about it for the next 6 months, but rather where they come back again and again, day after day, to take whatever is dished out, doing this type of action.
Extinction Rebellion have estimated that we only need 3% of the population on the streets to get the attention of the government and get the response we need. In Australia, with a population of 25 million, that's about 850,000 people, which is pretty doable.
Here, you're from the South Coast, and I don't know the situation at the South Coast, but here in Canberra, we find it fairly easy to get 7,000 people to a rally. Now, that 3.5% you mention, if you were to apply that to Canberra, there are about 200,000 adults, so that comes to about 7,000 people who are willing to go from that step of coming to an afternoon rally to the step of continually confronting the state on the issue of climate. For Sydney or Melbourne, with their 4 million population, it comes to about 70,000. But I actually reckon that if you had 1,000 in Canberra willing to do that, it would transform the place. If you had 10,000 in Sydney or Melbourne willing to do that, it would transform the place.